controversy here. It turns out that nitrates and nitrites are sources of nitric oxide, which is super duper important. Now, that's not to say you should be eating a lot of hot dogs, and we'll talk about that here, how nitrates and nitrites in vegetables can be a very, very important part of good health, but that doesn't necessarily mean that nitrates and nitrites in general are good, because they're also used as preservatives. And we'll talk about that distinction here. We'll probably get to it tomorrow as we talk about nitric oxide and anxiety. So if you're dealing with anxiety or mental health issues, if you want to reverse jitteriness, insomnia, mania, high blood pressure, and everything else that's associated with mental and emotional stress, activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Activate alpha brainwave states. Learn to breathe. Go back to the archives and read all these different strategies we've been talking about for now probably 2 weeks on how to slow things down in the body. And by the way, if you're watching the news before you go to bed or any time really, or listening to negative, fear-based political claptrap, whether it's from the left, so-called, or the right, so-called, they're basically the same. That's the opposite of meditation. Watching the news is the opposite of meditation. Watching the news and listening to the stupidity from Rachel Maddow and Rush Limbaugh and Ed Schultz and right and left and in between, watching that nonsense is the opposite of relaxation. It's the opposite of activating the parasympathetic nervous system. And if you're sick, or if you have mental health issues, anxiety, depression, as titillating as these kinds of shows can be, and I listen to them, I listen to myself. I listen to these shows also, you know. They're titillating. They're prurient. They appeal to prurient interests. But if we're listening to them when we're sick, we're probably not doing ourselves any good from a health and healing and anti-aging perspective. All right, tomorrow we'll continue talking about anxiety issues, and we'll talk also about nitric oxide. And for those of you guys who've written me about nitrates, and when am I going to start talking about nitrates and nitrites, we will do that tomorrow. And I'll tell you about the controversy that's associated, how this whole idea about how nitrates are such a big problem, how this whole idea came about. So anyway, now you guys are calling. Now that I have 3 minutes to talk to you, why do you wait till the last minute? Anyway, we'll try to get to as many calls as we can. 844-236-6010. Robert in Nevada. Welcome to the bright side. What's up, buddy?
Did you scare off the callers, Big Ben?
What's that?
Did you scare off the callers?
I must have. Am I scary today? I'm trying not to be.
I don't know. You usually fill at the top of the hour, but anyway. Thanks for taking my call. Appreciate it.
Sure. What's up?
Okay, so Xanax, Prozac, Zoloft, Zocor. Where do Eli Lilly, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, what were these bizarre, weird
how do they live with themselves? How do they look at themselves in the mirror when they're poisoning America? Is that what you're going to ask me?
Well, that too, but where does the name come from? Zoloft,
oh, you know, that's a great question. I have done a lot of research. That's an awesome question, Robert, because I was interested in that also. And I did a lot of research, and it's just marketing, and they want it to sound like science. And they come up with the most scientific sounding names they can come up with, and usually they'll have something to do with, in a weird kind of way, with what the drug does. For example, Xanax is like relax. Valium comes from the herb valerian. What other one? I forgot what other ones you said. It's like a riddle.
Zocor.
What's that? Zocor is cholesterol and your coronary arteries. Coronary, Zocor, coronary. They're really weird. You gotta. They're like riddles, and I've done a lot of research on that. And what I came up with is that there's people who sit around the table in the marketing department and come up with these names to make them sound scientific or sort of relate to what they do. And there are puzzles, and if you look at them and study them, you can the puzzle will kind of come clear. You know what? Now everybody's calling. I got a full board now. All of a sudden, I got 30 seconds.
So would Vytorin be vitamins?
No, Vytorin would have something to do with, I'd have to think about that. I don't know off the top of my head how some of these work, but it's a great question. It's an awesome question, actually, and I looked into it myself.
Go to the next caller. Thanks.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much, Robert. Okay, let's go to my friend Tara. What's up, Tara? How you doing? Tara in North Carolina?
Hi, Ben.
Hey, did anybody ever get a hold? Oh, we did talk about all that, about you.
Yes.
Okay, what's going on today? How you doing?
Well, I just wanted to call in and share praise because when you said, hey, no one called me today, I was like,
No, they're calling now.
Yeah, share praise. It has to do with Harmony Skin. I think I told you that she had a staph infection a while back because of her skin.
Okay.
And it just wouldn't go away. And I read an article, and I thought, well, maybe I can help somebody else if they're dealing with something about colloidal silver.
Okay.
And she had the staph infection for a little while, and we tried Manuka honey and myrrh and some other things, and then we did apple cider vinegar, and then we did colloidal silver, and it went away within a day.
How do you like that? Now, you did it on top, the apple cider vinegar, or you gave it to her internally?
No, I did it the next day.
Internally? You gave it to her as a...
No, on top of her skin.
No kidding.
Yep.
And it went away with just apple cider vinegar? That's awesome.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. That's how simple it can be. Good job, Tara. Thank you so much. God bless. Have a beautiful day. Okay, let's see. Let's go to Sharon in Austin. Welcome to the Bright Side, Sharon. What's up? Got about a minute.
Thank you.
Sharon?
And thank you for everything you do.
Sure.
I have a question about arachidonic acid in eggs. Years ago, I read a book that
Barry
made a
Sears?
very convincing case
Was
that
it Barry Sears' book? Was it The Zone? Was it that book, The Zone? Barry Sears' book?
I think it might have been, and it said it was a precursor to prostaglandins, which then triggered inflammation. And you've said so many wonderful things about eggs. I just wonder about that.
I can't say enough wonderful things about eggs. I know I said a lot, but I didn't say enough. They're wonderful. They're nature's perfect food. They got to be fresh. You want to make sure the chickens are good. There's nothing bad about eggs. Now, if you cook your eggs, it's a little bit different, because when you cook them, you can kind of destroy the fats. Not to worry about arachidonic acid. What you want to do is make sure you're balancing all of your fats. Arachidonic acid is extremely important for health. Extremely. And so are omega-6s, and the inflammatory process is very misunderstood, because arachidonic acid is associated with inflammation, and omega-6s are associated with inflammation, but inflammation is important. It's the way the body protects itself. It's the way the body heals. So it's a balance, Sharon. It's not avoiding it. It's balancing it with your omega-3s. And I wish we had more time. And you guys...
Oh, yeah. If you could address that further at some point, that would be wonderful.
I appreciate it, Sharon. And I wish I had more time, but we're just out of time.
Yeah.
Okay, God bless. Sorry to let you go there. All right, if I left you on hold, you got to call in early. That's what we need you to do on the bright side. Try calling in the second segment. We'll get to all our calls next time. Sorry if we left you on hold. Call back tomorrow. Tell our call screener you're on hold. We'll get you first up. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening to the bright side, folks. Have an awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
Worried about getting sick and feeling terrible for days or even weeks? You need Immudyne for a healthy immune system. Why get sick and bother with products that just don't work? For just $1 a day, Immudyne is all natural and safe for all lifestyles. Call 866-257-8668 to buy now before it's too late, before you get sick. Or go to IMMUDYNE.com, Immudyne.com, or call 866-257-8668.
If the IRS has garnished your paycheck or seized money from your bank account, you need to get professional tax help now. Fast action is required to put a halt to these aggressive IRS collection tactics. You can count on the knowledgeable team of tax professionals at Wall & Associates. With over 30 years of experience, Wall & Associates has settled the tax problems of thousands of taxpayers for a small fraction of what they owed. For a free face-to-face consultation, call 1-800-425-4610 to put a wall between you and the IRS. 1-800-425-4610 or look for us on the web at wallandassociates.net. We solve tax problems. If you hire Wall & Associates today, you'll never have to talk to the IRS again. To stop the levies and seizures today, take action now. Call Wall & Associates at 1-800-425-4610. Wall & Associates. 1-800-425-4610.